Let's turn our attention now to Nepal, where the SAARC summit is going to be held this week. The Prime Minister's first SAARC summit that he will be attending. My colleague Nidhi Razdan joining us live from Kathmandu for more. Nidhi, we saw a big splash that the Prime Minister made on the SAARC stage when he invited SAARC leaders for his swearing in way back in May. Since then, we've seen a lot of movement back and forth, really steps backward perhaps with Pakistan. Much attention on whether there will be a meeting between him and Nawaz Sharif in Kathmandu.
Well, interestingly, Maya, this evening, both Sushma Swaraj and Sartaj Aziz were asked about the possibility of this meeting between the two leaders. And Sushma Swaraj didn't rule it out. She said that wait until tomorrow. And Sartaj Aziz from the Pakistani side said that, well, nothing has been planned yet, but if India asks for a meeting, then we'll have one. So what we're given to understand is that the two leaders, frankly, are not going to be able to avoid each other because they're going to be in the same room for 2 days, at least 2 days, including a retreat, which will be much more informal in its setting. So even though it's unlikely that there'll be a structured bilateral dialogue, which has really not been planned, they will certainly have some kind of informal interaction. So that has not been ruled out, and that, of course, tends to overshadow these meetings. I have Mr. C.K. Lal. He's a prominent columnist here in Nepal who joins us this evening. Mr. Lal, is there a worry that this time again the India-Pakistan shadow will lurk over SAARC, or do you think this time it's different?
That is our experience, because this is for the third time that Nepal is hosting SAARC. First was in 1987, then in 2002, and now in 2014. Last 2 times, that's what happened, and that fear is always there.
I remember General Musharraf went and shook Mr. Vajpayee's hand in 2002.
And that actually overshadowed everything else, even though a lot of other negotiations at ministerial and secretary level were going on. That famous handshake took everything like a storm.
So deja vu for you. But let me ask you that, is there also a sense that this time it's a little different because Mr. Modi himself has taken such an initiative to reach out to the neighborhood, and to Nepal in particular? He's having his second bilateral meeting with the PM in less than 6 months tomorrow.
That is true, because when Mr. Modi came last time in Kathmandu, it was first visit of an Indian Prime Minister in last 17 years. So there is a sense and expectation in Kathmandu that Modi is reaching out to all neighboring countries with slightly softer corner for a very close neighbor like Nepal. So expectations from his second visit are very high, especially in government circles, but also among the people of Nepal.
Can you also finally tell us, sir, what really happened as far as the fiasco over Mr. Modi's visits to Janakpur and Lumbini are concerned? Because we got a sense that there were sections of the government that were opposing this because they felt that it was inappropriate for a foreign leader to come on Nepalese soil, have a public rally and distribute cycles. But there was also a lot of internal politics. Is that what it was?
That's true. Nepali politics is very polarized. I think Mr. Modi wanted to go to Janakpur for 3 reasons. One, when he was here last in July, he had promised that on his next visit
he would go.
He'll go to Janakpur, Lumbini and places like those. Number 2, I think just across the border in Bihar, there is election looming, and people in Janakpur area have very close relations across the border in Bihar. Number 3, Janakpur is a center of Vaishnavite sect of Hinduism, and during Ram Mandir movement in Ayodhya, Janakpur had contributed
so it had an important symbolism.
So that's a very important symbolism. 3 reasons why people of Janakpur wanted Modi to be here. It would have been first international visit to this ancient town. Number 2, people of Janakpur, including me, I hail from there, we are expecting that it will give some prominence to Janakpur and help sell pilgrimage tourism.
Right.
And number 3, it would show how neglected Janakpur has been in development from Nepal as well as from Indian aided projects. And
right.
3 reasons why Nepalese government did not want Modi to go to Janakpur. One, the majoritarian dominant majority in Kathmandu probably thought that it will give a moral boost to Madhesis who live in Janakpur area. Number 2, the government probably feared that Modi going there at the time of SAARC would give some kind of a wrong message to other
Leaders.
participating heads of
that he
government.
would in a
or
sense dominate.
Dominate.
Well,
yeah.
interesting times, Mr. Lal. Thank you so much for coming in on this cold Kathmandu night here, where all the media is now awaiting for these developments to unfold over the next few days. The big story will, of course, continue to be not just India and Nepal, but India and Pakistan, whether we like it or not. Will they? Won't they? Looks like they will. How they'll meet? That's going to be the big headline over the next 48 hours or so. That's it on Left, Right, and Centre tonight. We'll see you all again tomorrow.